Okay, guys, today we have something very special today. 21 years ago today, on September 11th, 2001, at 8 p.m. or 8 a.m. EST, American Airlines Flight 11 took off from Boston International Airport. 46 minutes later, at 8:46 a.m. EST, Flight 11 crashed into the North Tower. The plane was a Boeing 767. Several minutes later, at 9:03 a.m., the South Tower was hit by another flight, United Airlines Flight 175, another Boeing 767. Just before everyone thought the chaos was over, another plane hit the Pentagon in Washington, D.C. This was American Airlines Flight 77. It was a Boeing 757. Then the worst happened. Several minutes later, at 9:59, 2 World Trade Center, or the South Tower, collapsed. And several minutes later, at 10:28 a.m., the North Tower collapses. And all before the chaos, at about 10:07 a.m., another plane, known as Flight 93, another Boeing 757 from United, crashes into a field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. Passengers tried to overcome the hijackers of the aircraft. 21 years later, this is the exact replica of the World Trade Center that I made on my own. This is the lobby of 2 World Trade Center. This is what you would see if you walked in. The elevator shaft is in the main core of the building. If we go over here, we will go up to the observation deck shortly. If we go out here, you can see the North Tower, or One World Trade Center. One of the 3 World Trade Center statues, destroyed just after the South Tower collapsed, stood right here between the North and South Tower. A stand for music plays was sitting next to One World Trade Center just before the building collapsed. If we look off to the side, you will see 3 World Trade Center, or mostly known as the Marriott Hotel. The Marriott Hotel was destroyed when both towers collapsed, the North Tower completely destroying it. As we can see here, this is a memorial for the 1993 bombing, when a truck bomb was placed inside of 3 World Trade Center's garage. His effort was to cause the North Tower to topple onto the South Tower, causing both buildings to collapse. This was an unsuccessful attempt, but several years later, in 2001, the unfortunate terrorist attack would lead to his plan actually succeeding, but in a different way. If we look closely, here are all the victims' names right here. We have William Mako, John D. Giovanni, Robert Kirkpatrick, Stephen A. Knapp, Wilfredo Mercado, Monica Rodriguez, Smith and her unborn child. These unfortunate souls lost their lives in the bombing, inside of the parking garage when it exploded. If we look around, you may notice there are a ton of buildings across the plaza, starting with the main plaza building next door to 2 World Trade Center, which is 4 World Trade Center. This led to the concourse, mostly known as the Mall. As I am standing on Liberty Street right now, this bridge led across to a building that still stands to this day. Now, I did not build the building. I was going to build it. I was also going to build the church over there. And unfortunately, the church that is over there got destroyed as the South Tower collapsed. It has now been rebuilt. This is Liberty Street. The road right across from here is Cortlandt Street, well known as Greenwich Street. But if we look here, as of 2022, this roadway, where 2 World Trade Center and 4 World Trade Center used to be, if you go straight across, this entrance to the mall is now Cortlandt Street. As we go up here, we can see that there's another street. This is the main street of Manhattan, or Church Street, known. Church Street was the same road that the impact of Flight 11 was recorded. If we look close enough, you can see all of the trees that surrounded the World Trade Center. So, anyways, you can see this small road right here. This is Cortlandt Way. Now, don't confuse this with Cortlandt Street. This is a completely different road. Church Street still continues down through most of the plaza. Right here is 5 World Trade Center. It was standing up for most part when both towers collapsed, but it was torn down to replace it with the newer buildings at Ground Zero. If we look over here, there are a few more streets to go through. First, we have Vesey Street, which leads to 5 World Trade Center's main area. The walkway to the plaza also leads to the train station, which we will get down to in just a moment. Now, we can see here, there's another building right across from the plaza. This was known as Building 7, or World Trade Center 7. Unfortunately, after both towers collapsed, shortly after 5:50 p.m., this building collapsed due to unidentified reasons. The most believable reason is heat when both steel beams collapsed onto it. There was a walk bridge that you can have a clear view of Vesey Street that you can walk across. As you can see, this is one of the other World Trade Center statues right here. I forgot the name of this one, but this was a famous statue. It was destroyed as soon as Building 7 collapsed. And right here's the last building, 6 World Trade Center. Now in the main plaza, you may have noticed this sphere. This is the famous sphere building structure. It still sits near ground zero to this day. As a matter of fact, it sits just across from where the Marriott used to be, over on Liberty Street at the Liberty Park. If we go inside One World Trade Center, we will see even more. You can see this is the main lobby of One World Trade Center. You can see the main bus area that sat on the side of the tower. Many posters that used to sit on the side of the building as well. And many elevator shafts, along with stairways down the hallways. If we go over here, this was the FDNY's fire post area in the main lobby of the North Tower. There is also one in the South Tower that I put, which I will show in just a moment. As you can see here, this leads to 6 World Trade Center. This was part of the concourse. These escalators take up to a certain area, which leads to a bridge that takes you right across the street. Now this is West Street. And if we cross all the way across this bridge, you will see we are in a building that still is in the area of Lower Manhattan. This is not part of the World Trade Center, but is part of the World Financial Center. As you can see, it is incomplete. I am still working on most of this build. It might be finished by January. If we go back through all of this, we will see that if you go over here, this leads to the mall. If we walk out here, we have a sign that says One World Trade Center. Many stores, including Banana Republic, Papyrus, which is a bookstore that used to be in the World Trade Center. This store is incomplete. I forgot the name of it, but it will be finished, like I said. If we walk all the way across here, you'll see another sign that leads to One World Trade Center. But if we go down here, this is the subway. This subway actually still exists underneath One World Trade Center now. If we walk all the way across, you will see this used to be the Warner Brothers store. Now they still have the Bugs Bunny statue that hid in the back. If we go up here, this is the interior of 5 World Trade Center. And we have a map of the whole plaza here. As you can see, I have been waiting forever to showcase this map, and this is how big it got compared to the last time I showed it, if many of you remember. If we go out here, you'll see there's this long hallway that leads to probably the exit of the mall. Or wait, never mind. The exit to the mall is like all the way down there. We have the entrance to 2 World Trade Center. Now let me show you what I was talking about. As you can see, there is the FDNY command post right there. And if we go, finally, let's go to the rooftops of each of these buildings. If you have ever seen the movie about the man who walked across the 2 World Trade Center towers, then you may remember this scene of the camera climbing the tower. Starting with the rooftop of One World Trade Center, you will notice a massive television antenna. This was also used for cell phone communication. On the morning of the tower's destruction, many people tried to call their families, but they couldn't because they did not have any cell connection. If we go onto the south tower, it is a little different. You can see there is a balcony-style viewing deck. It had pay-to-view binoculars on the rooftop that many people would be able to see views of the New York skyline, Hudson River, and many more things on top of the balcony. If we go over here, you will see a helipad. Now, unfortunately, these helipads were not used on September 11th. Helicopter rescues were planned, but it was no use. The towers were too burned and the smoke was leading to the rooftop, so they could not get a clear area to land. And also, the door to the rooftop, or the 110th story of One World Trade Center and Two World Trade Center, was locked, so they could not access the rooftop. If we go look in through the window here, you should be able to see a viewing deck. Let's break in here real quick. This is the Two World Trade Center observation deck. This is the second section of it. There was a staircase that led all the way up to the viewing. So if we go all the way across here, there was a floor on the north tower too. I did not finish this, but this is supposed to be windows on the world. If we go down here again, you'll see I did add the rooftop details to 7 World Trade Center. Here is what it looked like from a front angle. You will notice that I have added another map as well in this same area. Here's the garage that led to this, also connected to 3 World Trade Center, but I did not finish the project area. And if we go over here, there is another roadway supposed to be built here. And there is another road that leads into this garage. This road is Barclay Street. It is still in Manhattan to this day. As you can see, at nighttime, both World Trade Center towers would light up. The South Tower, I did not complete the lights, but both towers would shine in a beautiful light every night until they collapsed. And finally, one of the last pieces of this build here are the flags. Now, most recently, these are not accurate flags. I added the American flag to take a photo right in front of it. I did the Ukrainian flag to show support for Ukraine, so don't judge me if it's inaccurate. If we go, what else is there? We have some recently built hotel rooms in 3 World Trade Center, so we can give you an idea of what it would look like. Now, this might not be accurate. Here's the front of 3 World Trade Center. I will go to one of these hotel rooms. And as you can see, we have a television, a couch, the bathroom is in here somewhere. This is the bedroom. And you have a view of both Liberty Street and the lobby of 2 World Trade Center. And if we go even further up to the top of the building, right next to where the North Tower was, we will be able to see some more stuff. Just get in here. We have the same little setup here. Pretty simple. As you can see, there is the view of one of the top floors of One World Trade Center, and a view of the famous sphere in the plaza. Now, I will partially cover the plaza for at least about a minute or so, just until I can get into my other World Trade Center related project. Now, in fact, we might be starting a new project. I will have a few friends help me with this build when we start the new build. Now, we do have some idea of what might have caused 7 World Trade Center to collapse, but it is relatively unknown as to what made it collapse. This will take me a moment to break some of these obsidian blocks, or these, whatever these are. I was building add-ons to the buildings and it just didn't work. So, it's supposed to be like a weird cloud effect, but I kind of messed up at it. Because every time I try to render the clouds, it just makes the clouds float on the floor. And it's kind of funny. And also, the main reason I turned off the clouds is because they would fly right through the rooftops of the World Trade Center buildings, and it just didn't look realistic. So I turned off the clouds. If you guys want, I could show the buildings with the clouds on. Anyways, here is the mini version of Manhattan. We have the same stuff from the World Trade Center Plaza. A little bit extra. We have half of Manhattan, the Empire State Building. A little bit more added on to the Financial Center. And here was the building I was telling you guys about in mini form. And we have a slight build of Brooklyn. We have the Central Park area. View of the World Trade Center. If we get a spyglass here, we can actually zoom in on the buildings. If we keep getting closer, you will see I added a little more detail. If we cut into the ground here and go to the bottom, I added each and every parking layer. I also added a slight detail. I have added blocks of certain good camera angles to see both towers from. Like right here. That's a good angle. Over here in the Hudson area, another good angle to view them up close. We also have, just coming out of the tunnel of West Street, you can see another good view. You know, just simple angles of different areas of the World Trade Center. And most of all, mini Manhattan project. And that's basically it for my World Trade Center projects. Thank you guys for coming here today on this special occasion. I appreciate all of you. May all those 3,000 souls rest in peace. And I hope that everyone enjoyed this showcasing. This took me a lot of effort to build, so I really hope you guys enjoy it. It took quite a long time. I started this project exactly September the 29th of last year. So this project took me a whole year. So I hope you guys really liked it. If you want, I will start a new World Trade Center build and you guys can help me. I don't know how that's going to work, but I will figure out a way if you guys ever want to try and build a World Trade Center project with me. I will do something to when I build the new project. Alright guys, for now, we're just going to get ready to stop the stream. So, once again, I hope you guys enjoyed, and someday I'm going to visit One World Trade Center one time in my life, and I can't wait to see it. Alright, bye guys.